Have you ever looked at someone for just a second and completely forgotten where you were? Because that's exactly what it felt like. One moment the stage belonged to BTS, and the next, it felt like time itself had quietly stopped the instant Jimin stepped into the light. Honestly, you guys, if you blinked, you probably missed it. But if you saw it, you know exactly why people still can't stop talking about that moment. It wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't even something he tried to force. It was simply Jimin. The atmosphere at A Very British Day Out already felt special long before BTS appeared. There was something uniquely elegant about the event itself. The architecture, the refined setting, the soft afternoon light hanging over London, the gentle excitement growing among thousands of people waiting together, it almost felt like the city itself was preparing for something unforgettable. And then BTS arrived. The cheers exploded instantly. But can we talk about something? Among all the excitement, all the lights, all the incredible energy surrounding every member, there was one figure who somehow felt almost unreal. Jimin. Not because he was trying to stand out. Not because his outfit was the flashiest. But because everything about him carried this quiet elegance that somehow became impossible to ignore. You know those rare moments when someone doesn't have to speak to command attention? That was exactly what happened. The cameras naturally drifted toward him. People around the venue instinctively looked in his direction. Even those who were trying to capture the whole group somehow found themselves stopping, zooming in, lingering just a little longer. How does he even do that? Honestly, it's almost impossible to explain. His movements weren't dramatic. They were effortless. Every step looked graceful. Every turn of his head felt intentional without ever looking rehearsed. It was almost as if elegance had somehow become human for just one afternoon. And that's when social media started exploding. Within minutes, clips began circulating everywhere. Fans weren't talking about choreography. They weren't even discussing vocals yet. Instead, one phrase kept appearing again and again. He looks like royalty. Not because anyone believed he literally belonged inside a palace, but because there was something undeniably regal about the way he carried himself. The calm confidence. The gentle posture. The soft smile. The way he acknowledged people without demanding their attention. It wasn't arrogance. It was kindness wrapped inside unbelievable charisma. And honestly, that combination is incredibly rare. You guys have probably noticed this before. Jimin has always had this fascinating ability to look powerful while remaining incredibly gentle. Most performers dominate a stage through force. Jimin somehow does it through softness. His presence doesn't shout. It whispers. Yet somehow, everyone hears it. As BTS greeted the crowd, the energy immediately became warmer. Members laughed together. They waved enthusiastically. The audience answered with deafening cheers. But then, something incredibly small happened. So small that many people probably missed it. Jimin paused. Just for a heartbeat. His eyes slowly swept across the audience. Not quickly. Not mechanically. Slowly. Almost as if he genuinely wanted to see everyone. That tiny pause somehow created one of the most emotional moments of the entire event. Did you notice it too? Because for just a second, it stopped feeling like thousands of people were watching one superstar. Instead, it felt like one person was sincerely appreciating thousands of hearts looking back at him. That's the difference. That's always been the difference. His expressions tell stories long before he ever says a word. The afternoon sunlight reflected gently across the venue, creating this warm golden glow that seemed almost cinematic. And somehow, the light found Jimin. It highlighted every subtle expression. Every blink. Every quiet smile. Every tiny breath between moments. Honestly, if someone had told you this was a scene from a historical film, you might have believed it. His visuals didn't simply look beautiful. They felt timeless. There are idols who look fashionable. There are idols who look cool. Then, there's Jimin. Someone whose elegance somehow feels completely detached from trends. It's difficult to explain because it isn't just about appearance. It's about atmosphere, aura, presence, energy. That invisible quality people immediately feel but struggle to describe. And just when everyone was already captivated, something else happened. He smiled. Not the wide, playful smile everyone loves during chaotic BTS moments. No. This one was smaller, softer, almost shy. It appeared for only a second. But somehow, that single smile created another wave of emotional reactions across the audience. Can we seriously talk about that smile? How can something so simple create so much emotion? People weren't screaming because of something dramatic. They were smiling. Quietly. Almost unconsciously. It's amazing how one expression can completely change the emotional atmosphere of an entire crowd. That's what makes Jimin so fascinating. He doesn't simply entertain. He makes people feel. There's an enormous difference. And that's why moments involving him continue living far beyond the event itself. Because emotions stay longer than performances. As conversations between the members continued, you could see the natural chemistry BTS has built over so many years. They laughed freely. Teased each other. Shared small glances only longtime friends understand. Jimin blended naturally into every interaction. Nothing ever looked forced. Nothing felt rehearsed. He wasn't trying to create memorable moments. They simply happened. Again. And again. And again. Honestly, authenticity is becoming increasingly rare. Maybe that's why these small interactions feel so precious. You can never script sincerity. And audiences always know the difference. Then came another beautiful moment. Jimin acknowledged fans standing farther away. Not the people directly in front. The ones in the distance. The sections many performers accidentally overlook. A gentle wave. A small nod. A warm smile. Nothing spectacular. Yet somehow. Everything. Imagine waiting hours just hoping your favorite artist notices your side of the crowd. Then suddenly, for one brief second, he does. That memory probably stays with you forever. That's the kind of emotional impact tiny gestures create. They become lifelong memories. The crowd's excitement kept growing. Phones filled the air. Every angle seemed worth capturing. Every second felt important. But here's the strange part. Even through thousands of screens, Jimin somehow still felt incredibly personal. How is that possible? Most cameras create distance. He somehow erased it. Looking into a lens somehow felt like eye contact. Watching through a live stream somehow felt intimate. Seeing a short clip somehow felt emotional. It's honestly a gift very few performers possess. Then another curiosity began spreading online. People started comparing his elegance to scenes from royal dramas. Again. Not because anyone was making literal comparisons, but because his composure carried that same timeless refinement audiences often associate with historical elegance. His posture remained relaxed. His shoulders naturally open. His expressions calm. Never exaggerated. Never overperformed. Just grace. Pure grace. And perhaps that's why the British setting amplified everything. London already carries an atmosphere of history, tradition, architecture, classic beauty. Seeing Jimin within that environment somehow created an almost surreal visual harmony. It didn't feel like someone visiting. It felt like someone who naturally belonged inside that elegant atmosphere. Can we talk about how perfectly everything aligned? The soft afternoon skies. The refined surroundings. The excitement of BTS. The warmth of ARMY. And right in the middle, Jimin. Almost glowing. Not because special effects made him shine, but because his own presence seemed to illuminate every frame around him. Every photographer seemed to discover another breathtaking angle. Every fan cam captured another unforgettable expression. Every clip revealed another detail people somehow missed before. And honestly, that's one of the most fascinating things about Jimin. Watching him once is never enough. The second viewing reveals something new. Then the third. Then the 10th. Suddenly you're noticing tiny gestures. Tiny smiles. Tiny breaths. Tiny glances. Each one creating another emotional layer. And just when you think you've seen everything, he surprises you again. A subtle laugh. A playful interaction with another BTS member. A gentle expression toward the audience. A tiny tilt of his head. Nothing huge. Yet somehow impossible to stop replaying. Because that's who Jimin has always been. Not someone who overwhelms people through excess. Someone who quietly stays in their hearts long after the moment has passed. Even after the cheers settled for a moment. Even after conversations shifted. Even after cameras turned elsewhere. That feeling somehow remained. That image. That elegance. That impossible combination of softness and strength. It lingered. Like music continuing long after the final note disappears. And somehow, it felt like the afternoon itself wasn't quite ready to let go either. Because just when everyone thought they'd already witnessed the most unforgettable part of the day, Jimin looked toward the crowd once more. And in that brief, almost silent moment, something changed in the atmosphere all over again.